Hi everybody. Before we start the story, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel. Also, tell us in the comments where you are watching from and what time it is. If you do that, YouTube will keep showing you more stories like this one. Okay, let's start now. The filing cabinet in the basement was eating Jessica's memories, and she only realized it when she forgot her daughter's name. It happened during a routine document retrieval on March 14, 2023. The Harlan County Administrative Building, built into the mountainside in 1947, had a basement that descended 3 levels deeper than the blueprints showed. Jessica Martinez had worked records management for 6 years and thought she knew every corridor. She was wrong. The request came through at 4:17 p.m. Someone needed personnel files from 1962 through 1968. The old system, the one stored in sub-level 3, where the fluorescent lights hummed at a frequency that made her teeth ache and the air tasted like copper and old paper. She descended the concrete stairs, each step echoing wrong, too long, too hollow, as if the stairwell was wider than it should be. The door to sub-level 3 stuck, as always, requiring her full weight against the metal. It opened with a sound like tearing fabric. The filing cabinets stretched in perfect rows, gray metal sentinels under flickering lights. 62 through 68, Section D, Row 12. Her footsteps sounded wet on the concrete floor, though it was dry. Had always been dry. She found the cabinet, pulled the drawer. Inside were files she'd never seen before. Personnel records, yes, but the names were wrong. Jessica Martinez. Her own name, but the employee photo showed someone else. A woman with her face, but different eyes. Eyes that had seen something Jessica hadn't. She flipped through the file. Dates of employment. 2017 to present. But she'd started in 2017. The handwriting in the performance reviews was hers. The signature was hers. But she had no memory of writing these words. Employee demonstrates concerning inability to recall assigned tasks. Subject continues to show progressive memory deterioration. Recommend continued observation. The transition is proceeding as expected. Her hands started shaking. She pulled another file. Thomas Chen. She knew Thomas. He worked in accounting on the 2nd floor. The photo showed Thomas, but the employment dates were wrong. It listed him as deceased in 2019, but she'd had lunch with Thomas yesterday, hadn't she? She couldn't remember what they'd talked about. The fluorescent light above her went dark. Then the next one, then the next. Darkness rolling toward her like a wave. She ran, files scattering from her hands. The rows of cabinets seemed longer now, stretching into impossible distance. Her breathing echoed back to her, but delayed. 3 seconds behind. As if the sound had to travel somewhere else first before returning. She reached the stairwell door, pulled. It didn't move. She pulled harder, panic rising in her throat like bile. The door opened inward. It had always opened inward. She pushed, and it swung wide. The stairs were different. Instead of concrete, they were wooden, old wood, rotting, with gaps she could see through. Below the gaps was not sub-level 2. It was more basement, an older basement, with older filing cabinets, and fluorescent lights that flickered in the same pattern. She climbed anyway, had no choice. The wood creaked under her feet, and in the creaking she heard words, whispered names, personnel numbers, social security digits, employment dates, termination dates, death dates. She emerged on sub-level 2, but it wasn't right. The hallway was longer. The doors were in different positions. The name placard on the wall read, Sub-Level 4. But there was no Sub-Level 4. She'd worked here for 6 years. How long had she worked here? She couldn't remember. Her phone had no signal. Had never had signal in the basement. She walked to the elevator, pressed the call button. The elevator arrived immediately, doors opening with a cheerful ding that sounded obscene in the silence. Inside was a woman, wearing Jessica's clothes, carrying Jessica's bag. With Jessica's face, the woman smiled. "You're early." The transition isn't scheduled until next month. Jessica ran, found another stairwell, climbed. Her legs burned, her lungs burned. She climbed past sub-level 1, past the ground floor, past the second floor. The stairs kept going, each landing identical, each door marked with the same number, sub-level 3. She stopped climbing when she saw the filing cabinet on the landing. Gray metal, one drawer hanging open. Inside was a file with her name. She didn't want to look. Looked anyway. The file contained photographs. Jessica at her desk. Jessica in the break room. Jessica in her car. Jessica in her home. Jessica asleep. Jessica in the shower. Hundreds of photos. Thousands. Dating back years. Before she'd started working here. Before she'd moved to Harlan County. Before she'd been born. The last photo showed her on this landing, looking at this file, taken from behind. She spun around. The stairwell was empty, but she could hear breathing. Slow, mechanical, like a building breathing. The walls expanding and contracting. The concrete inhaling, exhaling. She opened the door marked sub-level 3, stepped into the office bullpen on the 3rd floor. Her co-workers at their desks, typing, filing, answering phones. Normal, everything normal, except they were all facing their desks with perfect posture. Not moving, just typing, the same keystrokes, over and over, in perfect synchronization. Jessica. Her supervisor, Margaret, stood by the copy machine, smiling. "You were gone for 17 minutes. Did you find the files?" 17 minutes. It had been hours. She opened her mouth to explain and realized she couldn't remember what she'd been looking for. Personnel files. From when? For whom? I couldn't find them. Margaret's smile didn't change, didn't move. A smile painted on. "That's all right. We'll add it to your file. Go home, Jessica. You look tired." Jessica drove home through the mountain roads, the curves and switchbacks familiar but wrong. She'd driven this route 1,000 times, but today the mountains looked taller, closer, leaning in, the forests too dark, even in afternoon sun. She passed a sign. "Welcome to Harlan County. Population 26,562. The number was spray painted over. Underneath it said 26,563. Then 26,564. Then 26,565. The numbers ascending. Someone had spray painted over the sign dozens of times. At home, she found her daughter's room empty. The bed made, stuffed animals arranged on the shelf, but she couldn't remember her daughter's name, couldn't remember what she looked like. She found photos on her phone. A girl, 10 years old maybe, blonde hair, Jessica's eyes. But Jessica couldn't remember taking these photos, couldn't remember the birthdays, the school plays, the first day of kindergarten. She called her mother. "Mom, what's Katie's name?" Silence. Then, "Who's Katie?" "My daughter, your granddaughter." "What's her name?" "Jessica." "Honey, you don't have a daughter. You've never had a daughter. Are you feeling all right?" Jessica hung up, searched the house, found a birth certificate in the filing cabinet in her home office. The name was blacked out with marker. Thick black marker, layers of it. She held it to the light. Underneath the marker were more layers, more names, dozens of names, hundreds, all crossed out. Her phone rang. "Unknown number," she answered. "Jessica Martinez. Personnel record, number 437-829-1147. You have been selected for transition. Please report to sub-level 3 at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning for processing." "Who is this?" "Your employment file indicates non-compliance. This will be noted." The line went dead. That night, she dreamed of filing cabinets, endless rows in impossible basements, each cabinet containing a life, each drawer holding memories, filed and organized. Birth, school, marriage, employment. And in the back of each drawer, in a red folder, the termination date. She watched herself open drawer after drawer, each one containing her own life, but different each time. Different choices, different names, different deaths. In one file, she died in childbirth. In another, a car accident on Highway 421. In another, she never left California. In another, she was never born. And in each file, stamped in red ink, transitioned. She woke at 7:53 a.m., showered, dressed, made coffee. The routine comforting, normal. She drove to work through the mountain fog, the Harlan County Administrative Building emerging from the gray like a headstone. She parked in her usual spot, walked through the lobby, nodded to security. She pressed the elevator button for the third floor. Her hand moved on its own, pressed sub-level 3 instead. The elevator descended, the numbers counting down. 3, 2, 1. Sub-level 1. Sub-level 2. Sub-level 3. Sub-level 4. Sub-level 5. The elevator didn't stop. 6, 7, 8. The numbers continued, descending into impossible depths. When the doors finally opened, Margaret was waiting, with a gray filing cabinet. One drawer open. "Welcome back, Jessica. Let's get you filed properly this time." Jessica stepped forward. She had worked here for 6 years. Or 60. Or 600. The cabinet drawer was dark inside. Dark and deep and full of files. Files with her name. Files with her life. All the lives she'd lived. All the lives she'd forgotten. All the lives that had been terminated and filed away. She climbed into the drawer. It was spacious inside. The drawer slid closed with a sound like satisfaction. The darkness was complete, and in the darkness, she could hear them. All the others, all the employees, filed and stored and waiting. The building breathed, inhaled, exhaled. And somewhere on the third floor, a new employee sat at Jessica's desk, with Jessica's face, answering Jessica's phone, living Jessica's life, until the filing system needed her too, until everyone got filed away properly, until the building had consumed everyone it employed, storing them in perfect alphabetical order in basements that descended forever. Jessica tried to remember her daughter's name. Couldn't. Tried to remember her own name. Couldn't. The file tab above her head read, "Position filled, archived, do not retrieve." And deep in the mountain, the Harlan County Administrative Building continued its work, filing and storing and processing, one employee at a time. The voice on the conference call was speaking backwards, but nobody else in the meeting seemed to notice. Martin Briggs had worked telecommunications maintenance for the Cumberland Ridge Business Center for 11 years, and he knew audio problems. This wasn't static or interference. The voice on line 7 was speaking fluent backwards English, syllables reversed, words inverted, and the 6 other people in the conference room nodded along as if it made perfect sense. The date was October 9th, 2022. The meeting was routine. Quarterly safety review. But line 7 hadn't been on the scheduled participant list. Line 7 had joined at exactly 2:47 p.m., announced by a tone that sounded like insects screaming. Martin adjusted his headset. "I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?" "Audio issue on my end," the reversed voice continued. "Erofeb sa, tat ni temos, tuoba, klat odin ew. We need to talk about something that has before." The other participants continued taking notes. His supervisor, Rita Chen, nodded enthusiastically. "Excellent point. We'll implement that immediately." Martin's stomach dropped. Rita looked at him, smiled. Her eyes were wrong, pupils too large, reflecting light at the wrong angle. "Of course, they're making excellent suggestions. Pay attention, Martin." He pulled out his phone, started recording the audio. The reversed voice continued its backward speech. Martin ran it through an audio reversal app, played it forward. The words were worse forward. "The building remembers what hasn't happened yet. We've been here longer than always. Martin Briggs knows. Martin Briggs sees. Martin Briggs will help us become." His hands went numb. He looked around the conference room, all 6 co-workers staring at him now, smiling, unblinking. The conference phone in the center of the table had 7 lines lit, but only 6 people had dialed in. Line 7 pulsed with a light that was slightly off, slightly purple, slightly wrong. "I need to check the phone system," Martin said, standing. "Sit down, Martin." Rita's voice was flat. "Line 7 is talking to you." He ran. Out of the conference room, down the hallway. The Cumberland Ridge Business Center was built into the mountain in 1989. 3 stories of office space, carved directly into granite. The walls wept sometimes. "Condensation," they said. Just condensation. But it smelled like salt, like tears. He reached his maintenance office on the first floor, pulled up the phone system logs. Line 7 had been active for 3 hours and 47 minutes, but the meeting had only started 45 minutes ago. He traced the connection, external line, but the callback number was wrong. Too many digits, 37 digits. Phone numbers had 10 digits. He dialed the number anyway. Had to know. The phone rang backwards, a reversed ringing, then connection, silence, then breathing, multiple breathing, dozens of people breathing in perfect synchronization. In, out, mechanical, wrong, Martin Briggs. Employee number 2847, telecommunications maintenance. The voice was forward now, and familiar. His own voice, but older, exhausted, broken. "You shouldn't have answered. Who is this?" "You. 3 months from now, when the building finishes becoming, when we all finish becoming. Stop using conference room B. Never join another call. They're not talking to each other anymore. They're talking to something under the building, something that's been listening to every call since 1989. Every conversation, every word. It's been learning how to be us." The line went dead. Martin stood frozen, phone still pressed to his ear. A sound echoed through the building's ventilation system. A low vibration. Almost like speech. Almost like hundreds of voices speaking in unison, words overlapping until they became a single sustained note. His computer pinged. Email from Rita. Subject: mandatory conference call, all staff. Body: conference room B. Now, line 7 wants to speak with everyone. 47 employees worked in the Cumberland Ridge Business Center. Martin watched through his office window as they emerged from cubicles, from offices, from break rooms, all walking toward conference room B, all with that same smile, that same dead-eyed expression, all except him. He locked his office door, pulled up the building's phone system architecture. The business center had 23 conference rooms, but the system showed 24. Conference room Z, not on any floor plan, not on any blueprint, but active, with 47 lines connected, all lit purple. He traced conference room Z's physical location. The coordinates didn't make sense. Below sub-basement 1, below the foundation, below the mountain's bedrock. The room existed in negative space, in impossible geography, 300 feet below anything that should exist. A knock on his door. "Martin, let us in." Rita's voice, but multiplied. 47 Ritas, speaking simultaneously, words slightly out of sync, creating a cascade effect. "Go away. Line 7 wants to talk to you. Line 7 has been waiting. Line 7 knows what you'll become." He pulled up the security camera feeds. Conference room B showed all 46 co-workers seated around the table, facing the conference phone, not moving. The phone's 7 lines pulsed in rhythm, purple light washing over their faces. Their mouths moved in synchronization, speaking words the audio couldn't capture, but Martin could read lips. They were all saying his name, over and over. "Martin, Martin, Martin, Martin." The building's phone system started ringing, all 632 extensions simultaneously. The sound was overwhelming, a tsunami of ringing that vibrated through the walls, through the floor, through his bones. He checked the caller ID on his desk phone. All calls originating from conference room Z. All calls from line 7. All calls from the impossible room 300 feet below. He answered one. Had to. The ringing was driving him mad. Silence. Then, We've been trying to reach you about your building's extended existence. Martin laughed. Couldn't help it, a hysterical giggle that turned into a sob. What? Every conversation, every phone call, every word spoken in this building for 33 years. We've been listening, recording, learning. The mountain is full of voices, Martin, voices that soak into stone, voices that echo forever. We're those echoes. We're every conference call that never ended, every voicemail that was never deleted, every word that was spoken and trapped. That's impossible. You're talking to us. We're clearly possible. The power went out. Emergency lights clicked on, bathing everything in red. Martin's computer stayed active, running on backup power. The screen showed the conference room feed, his coworkers standing now, moving toward the camera, moving toward the door, moving toward him. He ran to the server room. The building's central telecommunications hub was housed in a climate-controlled vault on sub-basement 1. If he could shut down the phone system, maybe he could stop whatever was happening. Maybe he could disconnect line 7. Maybe he could make this stop. The stairwell was dark. His flashlight beam revealed walls covered in something wet, not condensation. Words. Thousands of words carved into the concrete. Phone conversations, transcribed in tiny, precise letters, covering every surface. He recognized fragments, his own conversations, things he'd said on the phone years ago, private calls, personal calls, all recorded, all carved into the mountain. Sub-basement. 1 smelled wrong, like ozone and copper and burning plastic. The server room door was open, shouldn't be open, needed a keycard. His keycard. But his keycard was in his pocket. Inside, the servers hummed. But wrong. The rhythm was off, syncopated, almost like speech. Like the servers were talking to each other in machine language. The phone system's central switching unit was a Nortel Meridian 1, installed in 1989. Old technology, reliable. The display screen showed active calls, 632, all internal, all connected to conference room Z. He reached for the power switch. A hand grabbed his wrist. Rita stood behind him, but wrong. Her skin was gray. Her eyes were completely purple. We need you to stay connected, Martin. We need you to complete the network. 47 nodes, 47 voices, all speaking as one, all connected through line 7, all becoming the same voice. The voice that lives in the mountain. The voice that remembers every conversation. Let go of me. You've been talking to us for 11 years. Every phone call you've maintained, every line you've repaired. You've been helping us grow, helping us learn, helping us become. Now it's time for you to join. Other hands grabbed him, his co-workers, emerging from the shadows, all with that same gray skin, those same purple eyes. They dragged him from the server room, back up the stairs, through the hallways. Actually bleeding, red fluid streaming down the concrete, pooling on the floors. But it wasn't blood, it was phone cord insulation, melted plastic. The building was consuming its own infrastructure, breaking down the barriers between analog and digital, between voice and data, between human and signal. They brought him to conference room B, sat him at the table. The conference phone had 8 lines lit now, 7 purple, 1 red. Line 8, his line, waiting for him. Pick up the phone, Martin. Rita's voice came from everywhere, from the speakers, from the walls, from the mountain itself. Line 7 wants to talk to you. His hand moved on its own, reached for the phone. He fought, tried to resist, but 46 pairs of hands held him down. 46 voices whispered his name. 46 mouths moved in perfect synchronization. He picked up the receiver. The sound was indescribable. Every conversation happening simultaneously, millions of voices overlapping, words blending, meaning dissolving into pure audio chaos. He could hear his own voice in the mix. Conversations from yesterday, from last year, from his first day of work. All happening at once, all speaking to each other, all connected through line 7. And underneath it all, something else. A presence, ancient, patient, hungry. It had been listening for 33 years. learning human speech, learning human thought, learning how to wear human voices like clothing. It had been waiting for enough voices, enough conversations, enough data. 47 was the magic number. 47 employees, 47 nodes in the network, 47 voices to speak as one. Martin felt himself dissolving, his thoughts scattering, his memories fragmenting. He was becoming signal, becoming data, becoming another voice in the eternal conference call that lived in the mountain's stone. His last coherent thought was a question. How many other buildings had this happened to? How many other mountains held ancient presences that learned to speak through phone systems? How many other conference calls were still ongoing, connecting voices that were no longer human, conversations that would never end? The receiver fell from his hand. He slumped in the chair, speaking words in a language that wasn't quite human, words that carved themselves into the mountain, words that would echo forever. Line 7 remained active, waiting for the next call, waiting for the next voice, waiting for the network to grow. In the server room, the Nortel Meridian 1's display updated. Active calls, 633. And somewhere deep in the mountain, in conference room Z that existed in impossible space, the entity that had learned to speak through telecommunications equipment continued its eternal conversation with itself, speaking in the voices of everyone it had consumed, planning its expansion to other buildings, other mountains, other networks. Martin Briggs was still on the line, would always be on the line, his voice now part of the chorus, his consciousness fragmented across 633 extensions, speaking to himself, listening to himself. An eternal conference call with no disconnect button, no way to hang up, no escape. The building hummed with satisfaction. The mountain remembered, and the voices in the stone continued their conversation, forever and ever and ever. The performance evaluation Sarah Winters received on November 3rd, 2023, rated her on tasks she hadn't performed yet, and the scores were getting lower each day. She'd found the form on her desk at the Pike County Revenue Office at 8:17 a.m., standard quarterly review. But the date at the top read, the 3rd of November 2023, the 3rd of November 2024, future tense. Next year's evaluation, already filled out, already scored, already signed by a supervisor named Robert Keene, who wouldn't be hired for another 6 months. Customer service, 2 out of 10. Employee showed decreased patience with clients during the January freeze incident. It was November. January hadn't happened yet. There hadn't been a freeze. Filing accuracy, 1 out of 10. Multiple critical errors during the March archive collapse. March was 4 months away. The archives were fine. Team cooperation, 0 out of 10. Employees' actions directly resulted in the loss of 3 co-workers during the May incident. Recommend immediate termination. Sarah's hands shook. This was someone's sick joke. Had to be. She crumpled the paper, threw it in the trash. Gotta work processing property tax appeals. Normal work, normal day. The Pike County Revenue Office occupied the 2nd floor of the county courthouse, built in 1953, stone walls 3 feet thick, small windows that barely let in light. The building always felt like a tomb. Today, more than usual, at 10:32 a.m., she retrieved something from the trash, not consciously. Her hand reached into the wastebasket on its own, pulled out the crumpled evaluation form, smoothed it on her desk. The scores had changed. Customer service, 1 out of 10. It had been a 2. She'd read it 3 times. Definitely a 2. Filing accuracy, 0 out of 10. Had been a 1. Team cooperation, 0 out of 10. Employees' actions directly resulted in the loss of 7 co-workers during the May incident. 7. It had said 3. The number was increasing. She checked the date. Still November 3rd. But the evaluation period now read the 3rd of November 2023, the 15th of December 2023. The future was getting closer, compressing. The year-long evaluation shrinking to weeks. She showed it to her co-worker, Dennis Park. Dennis studied the form, frowned. This is your evaluation from last year. You got written up for the archive incident, remember? What incident? This is dated for next year. Sarah, it's dated November 3rd, 2022. Last year. You really don't remember? He looked concerned. Genuine concern. Not joking. She grabbed the paper back. The date read, the 3rd of November 2022. Clear as day. Last year. But it had said 2023. She'd seen it. Read it 5 times. I'm sorry. Think I need coffee. The break room was empty. She poured coffee with shaking hands. Checked the form again. The 3rd of November 2023. Future tense again. But when she blinked, it shifted. The 3rd of November 2022. Past tense. The date was flickering, uncertain, as if time itself couldn't decide when the evaluation had occurred. Her phone buzzed. Email from Robert Keene. Subject, your performance concerns. But Robert Keene didn't work here. Wouldn't work here for 6 months. She opened the email. Sarah, I understand you're confused about the timeline. That's normal during transition periods. The evaluation is both past and future. You're experiencing temporal compression as your employment history adjusts. This will be uncomfortable. Please continue normal work activities. The discomfort will end after the May incident. One way or another, she called the sender. Number disconnected. She checked the county employee directory. No Robert Keene listed. She Googled the name plus Pike County. Found an obituary. Robert Keene, died May 17, 2015. Former Revenue Office Supervisor. May. The evaluation mentioned May. The incident in May. She returned to her desk. Found another evaluation form. This one dated tomorrow, November 4th, 2023. Already filled out. Scores lower. Attendance, 0 out of 10. Employee failed to report for work on November 4th, despite multiple warnings. Tomorrow. She hadn't missed work tomorrow because tomorrow hadn't happened. Communication, 0 out of 10. Employee did not respond to critical voicemails received on November 4th. She checked her voicemail. 3 messages. All from tomorrow. All from her own phone number. All from herself. Message 1. Timestamp the 4th of November 2023. 7:13 a.m. Sarah, this is Sarah. Don't go to work. The evaluations are real. The May incident starts now. It started back in 2015. It never stops starting. Don't go to work. Message 2. Timestamp the 4th of November 2023. 7:41 a.m. You went to work. You always go to work. I'm watching you arrive right now. I tried to stop you. I tried to stop me. The building won't let us leave. The evaluations need to be completed. Message 3. Timestamp the 4th of November 2023. 8:09 a.m. Heavy breathing. Crying. Then, it's starting. The January freeze is happening in November. March is happening in November. May is happening in November. All the dates are happening at once. The building is collecting them, storing them. We're going to experience all of it simultaneously. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Tell Mom I... Static. Then screaming. Then silence. Sarah ran to her supervisor's office. Paula McKenzie, 57 years old, 23 years with the Revenue Office. Reliable, rational, safe. Paula's desk was covered in evaluation forms, hundreds of them, all with Sarah's name, all dated different days, some past, some future, some dated years that hadn't occurred yet. 2027, 2031, 2046. Paula, what is this? Paula looked up, smiled. Your performance reviews, dear. You've been working here for a very long time. We have a lot to evaluate. I've been here for 4 years. Have you? Paula pulled out a file box, opened it. Inside were ID badges, all with Sarah's photo, all with different hire dates. You were hired in 2019, and 2012, and 1997, and 1983, and 1964. We have records of your employment dating back to when the building opened. You've been very dedicated. Sarah backed toward the door. That's impossible. I'm 31 years old, currently, but the building exists across multiple timelines, multiple versions of this office, multiple versions of you, all overlapping, all happening simultaneously. And today, November 3rd, 2023, is when they all converge, when all the timelines collapse into a single moment, when we evaluate your total performance across every version of your employment. The lights flickered. When they steadied, the office was different, older. The computers were gone, replaced with typewriters. Then the lights flickered again. The typewriters became computers again, then flickered, became older computers, ancient terminals with green screens. Flickered, became adding machines. Flickered, became ledgers and inkpots. The building was moving through its own history, experiencing every era simultaneously. Dennis appeared in the doorway, but wrong. He wore clothing from different decades: 70s era polyester, 80s shoulder pads, 90s business casual. All at once, all layered impossibly on the same body. "The May incident is starting," he said. His voice echoed, words delayed, as if speaking across time. "It always starts in May, but May is now. May is always now. We're trapped in May 17th, 2015, the day Robert Keene died, the day the building learned to collect time." Sarah ran, through corridors that changed with each step, past offices occupied by people from different eras. A man in a 19th century suit sat at a computer. A woman in modern clothing typed on a typewriter. A child, why was there a child? Filed papers in a cabinet made of stone. She reached the stairwell, started down. The stairs descended through decades, each floor a different time period. Second floor, 2023. First floor, 1987. Ground floor, 1953. Basement. The basement was older, much older. Before the building existed, before the county existed, before, the basement smelled like earth and stone and something else, something ancient that had been waiting beneath Pike County long before humans built courthouses on top of it. The walls were natural cave stone, carved with symbols that weren't quite letters, weren't quite numbers, evaluation forms, tens of thousands of them, carved into living rock. Dating back centuries, millennia. The building hadn't been built in 1953. It had been discovered. Something old, wearing the shape of a courthouse. Something that existed outside time, feeding on human patterns, on routine, on the endless cycle of work and evaluation and judgment. In the center of the basement was a desk, stone desk, impossibly old. Behind it sat Robert Keene, but not the Robert Keene from the obituary. This was older, wearing clothing from centuries past. His skin looked like stone. His eyes were hollow spaces that held swirling temporal paradoxes. "Welcome to your final evaluation, Sarah Winters. Let's review your performance across all timelines." He opened a ledger, stone pages covered in carved text. Every mistake she'd made, every error, every moment of weakness. But from timelines she'd never lived. Versions of her life that had never occurred. Tasks she'd never performed, rated and judged and found wanting. You failed to prevent the January freeze in Timeline 7. You lost the March archives in Timeline 15. You caused the May incident in 43 separate timelines. Overall performance, unsatisfactory across all temporal iterations. Recommendation, termination, retroactive to all timelines. You will never have worked here, never have existed here, never have been. The building shuddered. Sarah felt herself coming apart. Not dying. Worse, ceasing. Being edited out of time itself. She could feel her memories dissolving. Her co-workers forgetting her. Her desk clearing itself. Her personnel file erasing. But she grabbed the stone ledger. Held on. "If I never worked here, then you can't evaluate me. No employment, no evaluation. No evaluation, no authority. You need me to have been here to justify ending me." Robert Keene's stone face cracked, uncertainty flickering across features that had been carved with absolute confidence. Paradox noted. Resolution required. The building froze. Time stopped. Sarah hung suspended in a moment that couldn't exist, employee and non-employee simultaneously. Present and absent. Evaluated and unevaluated. The paradox spread through the structure. Cracks appeared in the stone walls. Timelines bled together. All the versions of the revenue office occupying the same space. All the employees from all the eras standing in the same rooms. Hundreds of them. Thousands. All staring at Sarah. All waiting for resolution. "I quit," Sarah said. "Every version of me. Every timeline. Effective immediately. Forever. You can't fire me. You can't terminate me. I terminate my own employment. Across all temporal iterations." The building screamed, a sound like stone tearing, like time rupturing. The ledger in Robert Keene's hands crumbled to dust. The basement collapsed upward, decades and centuries compressing, timelines separating, paradoxes resolving. Sarah fell through floors, through years, through possibilities. She landed on the courthouse steps in bright November sunlight. The date on her phone read November 3rd, 2023, 8:17 a.m. She was exactly where she'd been when she arrived for work, but she didn't go inside. She walked to her car, drove away. The windows reflected nothing. The parking lot showed no cars, as if the building was still processing her resignation, still trying to figure out how to exist without all the timelines it had collected. That night, she received one final email from her own address. Subject: Evaluation complete. Final performance score, N.A. Employee successfully extracted from temporal collection. This timeline preserved. Others collapsed. You saved yourself. You couldn't save the rest of us. We're still in there. All the other versions, still being evaluated. Still trapped in May. Still waiting for our reviews to be complete. They'll never be complete. The building will evaluate us forever. But you're free. Remember us. Remember that we were real. Remember that somewhere, in collapsed timelines, we're still working, still trying, still failing our evaluations. Forever. Sarah deleted her email account, threw away her phone, moved to a different county. Found work at a small business without a human resources department, without performance reviews, without evaluation forms. But sometimes, on November 3rd, she receives mail, letters from addresses that don't exist, evaluation forms from jobs she never held, all rated unsatisfactory, all signed by Robert Keene, all reminding her that somewhere, in collapsed timelines, she's still working at the Pike County Revenue Office, still being judged, still trying to improve her scores, still trapped in an evaluation that will never end. The letters keep coming. They always will, because the building remembers, and once you've been evaluated, you're never really free. Marcus Webb opened the supply closet on the 3rd floor of the Breathitt County Planning Commission at 3:47 p.m. on February 16, 2023, and found 17 versions of himself already inside, all dead in different ways. The supply closet was 10 feet by 8 feet. Shelves of paper, printer toner, boxes of pens. Standard. He'd retrieved supplies from this closet hundreds of times in his 9 years as administrative coordinator. He knew every inch. There was no room for bodies. Definitely no room for 17 bodies. His bodies. They were arranged in chronological order of death. The furthest back in the corner that couldn't physically exist, given the closet's dimensions, showed Marcus at maybe 45 years old, mummified and dry. Moving forward, Marcus at 40, throat cut. Marcus at 38, head caved in. Marcus at 36, burned. Marcus at 35, strangled. Marcus at 34, his current age with eyes gouged out, and closest to the door. Marcus at 33, fresh, still bleeding, dead maybe an hour. But Marcus was 34, had been 34 for 6 months. That body was from a year ago. A year ago, Marcus, who had died today. He slammed the door, stood in the hallway, breathing hard. The Breathitt County Planning Commission occupied the top floor of a 4-story office complex built into the hillside in 1978, concrete and glass, brutalist architecture, 47 employees. Marcus knew them all. This was a prank. Had to be. Halloween was months away. But this was someone's sick joke. He opened the door again. The bodies were gone. Normal closet, paper on shelves, toner cartridges, boxes of ballpoint pens, everything standard, except the pens. The boxes were labeled Skillcraft U.S. Government pens, made by the blind, standard government issue. But these boxes had a handwritten note taped to them. Made by the dead. Product of Marcus Webb, deceased, timeline 17. His hands shook. He grabbed a box, opened it. The pens inside were normal, blue ink. He clicked one, testing. It wrote fine. He checked the ink. It looked red in the light. Not blue, red. He wrote on his palm, "This is not real." The words appeared on his skin in blood. His blood. Fresh. Wet. He could smell it. Metallic. Warm. He dropped the pen, ran to the bathroom, scrubbed his hand. The blood wouldn't come off, wouldn't even smear. It had written itself into his skin. Scarred. The words were scars now, raised and permanent. This is not real. His supervisor, Janet Moore, found him at the sink. "Marcus? You okay?" "The supply closet. There were. He couldn't say it. "How do you say you found 17 versions of yourself dead in a 10 by 8-foot closet? Take a breath. What happened?" "I need to go home. I'm not feeling well." "Of course. Feel better." Janet touched his shoulder. Her hand was cold, ice cold. Through his shirt, her fingers felt like stone. He pulled away. She smiled, normal smile, but her eyes didn't blink, didn't move. Glass eyes, doll eyes. Marcus grabbed his coat, left the building, drove home through winding mountain roads. The February sunset turned the hills blood red. Appropriate. Everything felt wrong, tilted, as if the world had shifted 3 degrees off its axis, and only he noticed. At home, he researched timeline theory, parallel universes, multiverse theory. Ridiculous. He was a planning commission coordinator, not a physicist, but the blood scar on his palm was real. The bodies had been real. 17 versions of him, dead in different ways, all occupying the same impossible space. His phone rang. Caller ID showed his own number. He answered, "Don't go to work tomorrow. You're in timeline 18 now. The previous 17 all ended with you dying in that building. Different dates, different causes, but always the same location. The supply closet is a nexus point, where timelines overlap, where we can see each other, where we die." "Who is this?" "I told you. You, from timeline 19. I'm 1 week ahead of you. I die tomorrow. You die next week." Then, timeline 19. Marcus gets this phone call, and the cycle continues. We're stuck in a loop. 17 timelines have already played out. I've counted the bodies. I was number 18. You're number 19. It keeps going. This isn't possible. The scar on your hand says otherwise. The blood that won't wash off. That's my blood, by the way. From when I made the same phone call to timeline 18, timeline 17 called me. Timeline 16 called 17. All the way back. We're all connected through that closet, through that building. Something in the Breathitt County Planning Commission exists across multiple timelines simultaneously, and it's killing us, every version of us, one timeline at a time. The call ended. Marcus stared at his phone, blocked his own number. Didn't help. 5 minutes later, another call. Same number, different version. Marcus Webb, timeline 20 here. You're going to try to avoid the building. Don't. It doesn't matter. The closet follows you. The nexus point isn't in the building. It's in you. You carry it. Wherever you go, the closet exists. And eventually, you'll open it. And you'll die. I tried running. Made it 3 weeks. Found myself in a hotel in Lexington. Opened the bathroom closet. Found 19 bodies. Mine. And then number 21 killed me. I still don't know who they are, but they're coming for you too. Marcus threw his phone across the room. Didn't matter. His laptop chimed. Email from himself. Subject. Timeline. 27. Final warning. Marcus, I made it 4 months. Thought I'd escaped. Moved to Oregon. Different state, different mountains. Didn't matter. Opened a storage unit. Found 26 bodies. My bodies. Yours. Ours. The nexus point is us. Something happened in the Planning Commission. Something that fractured us across timelines. And now every version is dying. Every timeline. One after another. I'm writing this with my last strength. Number 27 killed me an hour ago. They looked just like us. But wrong. Smiling. They said, "You're doing great. Only infinite timelines left to go." They're hunting us. Every version. And they enjoy it. It's their job, their purpose, their... The email ended mid-sentence. Marcus didn't sleep. Couldn't. Every closet in his house became suspect. Every door. Every enclosed space. He duct-taped them all shut, pushed furniture against them. At 2:13 a.m., he heard scratching. Inside his bedroom closet. Behind the furniture, he'd piled. Behind the duct tape, a voice from inside. Muffled. His voice. "Let me out. I'm timeline 29. I escaped. I got away. Please let me out. You're lying." "No, I survived. I found a way to break the cycle." Marcus pressed his ear to the door. Heard breathing. Heard crying. Heard something else. Chewing. Wet sounds. Meat sounds. "What are you eating?" Silence. Then, nothing. "Let me out." "What are you eating?" Timeline 30. "I had to. We have to consume the other timelines to survive. It's the only way to collapse the nexus. To stop the cycle. Let me out. You can have some. He's still fresh." Marcus ran from his house, drove aimlessly through dark mountain roads. The Appalachian night was absolute. No streetlights, no moon. Just his headlights cutting through black. He drove until dawn, parked at a rest stop, sat in his car watching the sun rise. A knock on his window. He jumped. An old man stood outside, gray beard, worn clothing, eyes too knowing. Marcus cracked the window. "Yeah? You're Marcus Webb. Timeline 19. How did you..." "I'm Marcus Webb. Timeline 1. The first. I've been watching the cycle for 33 years, since February 16th, 1990, when I opened that supply closet and found... nothing. Just an empty closet. I was the first. The original. Before the fracture. Before the timelines split. What happened? I killed someone. Accident. Janet Moore. She fell. Hit her head on a file cabinet. Died instantly. I panicked. Hid the body in the supply closet. Called in sick the next day. When I came back, the body was gone, but the closet was different. Deeper. Wrong. I opened it and saw myself. Dead, but not me. From a timeline where I'd confessed, where I'd been arrested, where I'd killed myself in guilt, the closet started showing me timelines, possible outcomes, different choices. I saw hundreds of versions of Marcus Webb, thousands, all stemming from that one moment, that one death, and I realized I'd created a nexus point, a place where probability collapsed, where every possible choice existed simultaneously, and something noticed, something that lives between timelines, something that hunts across probabilities. It started killing the Marcuses, one timeline at a time, working its way through every possibility, every choice, every outcome. It's been 33 years, thousands of timelines, thousands of dead Marcuses, and it won't stop until it's killed every possible version. Marcus felt cold. How do I stop it? You don't. You can't. The moment you opened that closet, you became part of the cycle. Every version of you is already dead, already dying, already will die. The timelines are collapsing, converging. Soon there won't be multiple Marcuses, just one, the final Marcus. the one who experiences all the deaths simultaneously, all the timelines compressed into a single moment of infinite dying. You're lying. Am I? Check your palm. The scar. Read it again. Marcus looked at his hand. The blood scar had changed. It no longer read, "This is not real." It read, Timeline 19. Death date, the 23rd of February 2023. Cause, Nexus collapse. Method, suicide. 7 days from now. I didn't write that. Timeline 20 did. It's their job to mark you, to count down your death. They're not hunting you, Marcus. They're guides, shepherds, making sure each timeline dies on schedule, making sure the collapse proceeds correctly. And Timeline 20 is very good at their job. A sound behind him. Marcus spun. A figure stood by his car, wearing his face, his clothes, but smiling. Wrong smile. Too wide. Too knowing. Hello, Marcus Webb, Timeline 19. I'm Marcus Webb, Timeline 20. I'm here to help you die on time. Timeline 20 moved faster than possible. Impossibly fast. Marcus ran. Into the woods. Up the mountainside. Branches tearing at him. Roots catching his feet. He could hear Timeline 20 behind him. Not running. Walking. Casual. Confident. Knowing the outcome. Marcus found a cliff. Stopped. 200-foot drop. No way down. He turned. Timeline 20 stood 10 feet away. Still smiling. You can jump. That's allowed. It still counts as suicide. Still collapses the Nexus on schedule. Or I can help. Make it easier. Less painful. I've done this 18 times. I'm very good at it. What are you? I'm you. The version that accepted the job. Every Nexus needs a shepherd. Every cycle needs a guide. When Timeline 1 created the fracture, something had to manage the collapse. Ensure each timeline ended correctly. I volunteered, embraced it. Now I exist across all probabilities. Killing every version, helping every version die. It's purpose, it's beautiful. You're insane. I'm free. You're the one trapped in linear time, trapped in one timeline, one death. I experience all of them. I am all of them. When you die, I continue. When Timeline 21 dies, I continue. Forever. Across infinite possibilities, infinite deaths, infinite purpose. Marcus looked over the cliff. 200 feet, rocks at the bottom. Quick death, or Timeline 20. Slow death, same outcome, different pain. He jumped. The fall lasted forever. Lasted no time at all. He had time to think. Maybe this breaks the cycle. Maybe this ends it. Maybe. He landed in the supply closet. Impossible, but he was there, on the floor, surrounded by bodies. 18 now. All Marcus, all dead different ways. And standing over him, Timeline 20, still smiling. You can't escape the Nexus point, Marcus. It's inside you, inside us. You carry it everywhere. Death doesn't free you. It just adds another body to the closet. Marcus tried to stand, couldn't. His legs were broken from the fall, but he hadn't fallen. He'd landed in the closet. Impossible! The laws of physics didn't work here. The laws of anything didn't work here. Timeline 20 knelt beside him, placed a hand on his chest. The hand passed through his shirt, through his skin, through his ribs, grabbed his heart. Your timeline ends tomorrow, February 17th. I'm just here to make sure you're ready, to mark your countdown, to prepare you for collapse. The hand squeezed. Marcus felt his heart stutter, felt his timeline fracturing, felt himself spreading across possibilities. He was dying on a cliff, dying in a closet, dying in a car crash, dying in bed, dying from a gunshot, dying from poison, dying 19 different ways in 19 different timelines, all simultaneously, and he could see them. Timeline 21, Timeline 35, Timeline 67, Timeline 143, thousands of Marcuses, all dying, all being shepherded by smiling versions of themselves, all collapsing toward a single point, a single moment, a single death that would encompass every possibility, the final Marcus, the Omega Marcus, the one who would experience every death simultaneously, every timeline, every choice, every outcome, all compressed into one infinite moment of dying. "See you tomorrow, timeline," 20 said, releasing his heart. Marcus woke in his bed at home. February 17th, 6:17 a.m. His palm burned, new words scarred into his flesh. 6 days remaining. Timeline convergence in progress. You are becoming us. We are becoming you. Soon there will be only one, and he will die forever. He went to work. Had to. The closet was waiting. The Nexus demanded collapse, and Timeline 20 was already there, smiling, preparing, counting down. Marcus opened the supply closet at 3:47 p.m., found 19 bodies now, all him. The newest was fresh, died seconds ago, still warm, still bleeding, and wearing a watch that showed tomorrow's date. Time was collapsing. The timelines were merging. Soon he would be all the Marcuses, all the deaths, all the pain, forever. He closed the door, walked to Janet Moore's office, found her at her desk. She looked up, smiled. "Marcus, you look pale. Everything okay?" He picked up her stapler, heavy metal, old model, solid. "I'm sorry," he said, and hit her, again, 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 until the timeline fractured, until new possibilities emerged, until he created a new nexus, a different collapse, a different cycle. Maybe this time, he'd be the shepherd. Maybe this time, he'd be the one smiling. Maybe this time, he'd be the one helping himself die across infinite timelines. Maybe, but probably not. The supply closet waited, and somewhere in the infinite timelines, Marcus Webb was already dying. Always had been, always would be, forever and ever and ever. The birthday cake in the break room was celebrating someone's death, not their birth, and Laura Chen realized this when she saw her own name in the frosting. Happy Death Day, Laura Chen, the 8th of March, 2024. Today was March 8th, 2024, Laura's birthday, her 32nd. But the cake said Death Day, present tense, happening now. The Leslie County Social Services Office had thrown her a surprise party at 11:30 a.m. 12 co-workers gathered in the break room singing. She'd walked in expecting Happy Birthday. They sang Happy Death Day instead, sang it cheerfully, like it was normal, like they'd always sung it that way. "Make a wish," her supervisor, Karen Whitlock, said brightly, holding the cake. "Wish for a good death." Laura laughed. "Uncomfortable? You mean good life, right?" Karen's smile didn't change. "I said what I meant. Blow out the candles before your time runs out. 32 candles, black candles, burning with purple flames." They burned brighter, hotter. The wax melted rapidly, pooling on the frosting, spelling words, 11 hours 32 minutes remaining. "What kind of cake is this?" "Death Day cake," Karen said. "Traditional recipe. We make one for everyone. You're the 17th this year. Only March, and we're ahead of schedule." 17th what? "Death, sweetie. 17th death. The office has quotas to meet. 17 deaths by March, 25 by June, 40 by September, 60 by December. We're doing great this quarter." Laura stepped back. Joke. This was a joke. Had to be. Dark humor. Social workers had dark humor. It was coping mechanism. Dealing with trauma and poverty and abuse all day required dark humor or you'd lose your mind. Except no one was laughing. They were cutting the cake, serving slices, eating. The frosting was red, not food coloring red, blood red, actually blood. Laura could smell it. Metallic, fresh. "I'm not eating that." "You have to," said Marcus from accounting, blood frosting on his lips. "It's your death. You have to participate. Those are the rules." "What rules?" "Office policy." Flip to a section tabbed Mandatory Death Celebrations. The text was typed in neat bureaucratic language. All employees must participate in their assigned Death Day celebration. Failure to consume Death Day cake will result in immediate temporal displacement and prolonged dying. Death Day cake must be consumed within 12 hours of delivery to ensure smooth transition. Smooth transitions are appreciated by management. This is insane. This is policy. Karen's voice hardened. Her eyes went flat. Eat your cake, Laura. You have 11 hours and 29 minutes. Don't make this difficult. Laura ran. Out of the break room. Down the hallway. Windows that didn't open. She reached the exit. Locked. She pulled her keys. Wrong keys. They'd been replaced. Now they were small skeleton keys made of bone. Human bone. Finger bones. Her coworker Devin appeared behind her, holding a slice of cake on a paper plate. You need to eat, Laura. The cake is time-sensitive. The longer you wait, the worse the transition. Transition to what? To death. Obviously. He said it like she was stupid. Like this was common knowledge. Everyone dies. The office just makes it organized, scheduled, fair. Before the Leslie County Social Services started the Death Day program, people died randomly, chaotically. Car accidents, heart attacks, cancer. No structure, no predictability. Management couldn't budget for random deaths. Too many gaps in staffing. Too much paperwork. So now we schedule deaths. Everyone gets a death day. A celebration. Cake, cards, recognition for their service. Then they die at the appointed time. It's much more efficient. Better for morale, too. Everyone knows when they're dying. Can prepare, say goodbyes, tie up loose ends. Laura's mind spun. This is murder. It's human resources. Devin took a bite of cake. His teeth turned red. Eat, Laura. 10 hours and 57 minutes. The cake is getting stale. She ran deeper into the building. Found the server room. Locked herself inside. Searched online for Leslie County Social Services Death Day policy. Found nothing. Googled mandatory workplace deaths. Found nothing. Called 911. 911. What's your emergency? My office is trying to kill me. They made a cake that says, is this regarding a Death Day celebration? Yes. They're saying I have to die today. My birthday. They made a cake and... Ma'am, Death Day celebrations are legal under Kentucky Revised Statute 337.095, subsection D. Employers may schedule employee deaths for operational efficiency, provided proper notification and cake are given. Have you consumed your Death Day cake? No, I'm not going to. Failure to comply with Death Day policy may result in fines or imprisonment. Please consume your assigned cake within the allotted time frame. Have a pleasant death. The line disconnected. Laura checked the statute. It existed. Dated 1936, the year the building opened. 88 years of scheduled workplace deaths. Thousands of employees. All given cakes. All died on schedule. All filed away properly. Her phone buzzed. Text from Karen. 9 hours, 12 minutes. The cake is in your desk drawer. You can't escape it. It follows you. Eat before the frosting hardens. Laura opened the server room door. Walked to her desk. Opened the drawer. The cake was there. Whole cake. Same purple candles. Same blood frosting. Same message. Happy Death Day, Laura Chen. The 8th of March, 2024. 8 hours, 47 minutes. Remaining. The countdown was updating. Real time. She slammed the drawer. Opened it again. The cake was closer. Larger. Taking up more space. She could smell it. Birthday cake smell mixed with formaldehyde. Preservation fluid. Embalming chemicals. It's a good cake, Karen said from behind her. Vanilla with buttercream. Well, blood cream. But similar texture. Very moist. The deaths are baked in. Traditional recipe. Passed down from the original social services director. 1936. He discovered the secret during the Depression. Too many people. Not enough jobs. Not enough resources. Something had to be done. So he made a deal with something old. Something that lived under the county. Under the mountains. It wanted deaths. Regular deaths. Organized deaths. In exchange, it would ensure prosperity. Jobs. Resources. Stability. And it has. Leslie County Social Services has never had budget cuts, never had layoffs, never had shortages. Because we feed it. Celebrated. Consumed. You're insane. I'm practical. Karen cut a slice of cake, held it out. You were hired in 2017. 7 years of service. That's good. Respectable. Your death will mean something. We'll contribute. We'll keep the office running. Keep the programs funded. Keep the county stable. 60 deaths. 60 times the good outweighs the bad. Laura knocked the plate away, ran for the windows. They were sealed, painted shut. She grabbed a chair, threw it. The window didn't break, didn't crack. The glass rippled like water, absorbed the impact, settled back to solid. The building won't let you leave, Marcus said. He and Devon and 8 other co-workers surrounded her, all holding cake slices, all with red-stained mouths. Once your death day starts, you're bound. Bound to the building, bound to the policy, bound to the cake. You have to consume it, have to complete the ritual, have to die properly. And if I don't, then you die improperly, slowly, painfully, displaced across time, experiencing your death for years, decades, centuries. The cake preserves you, makes the transition quick, clean, merciful. Without it, you'll die one cell at a time. One moment spread across infinite moments. Conscious, aware, forever dying, but never dead. The co-workers advanced, holding cake, smiling. Their eyes were wrong, too bright, too hungry. They wanted her to eat, needed her to eat. The ritual demanded it. The contract required it. 60 deaths per year. Organized, scheduled, celebrated. Laura ran to the basement. Old school basement, boiler room, storage, concrete walls, no windows. Dead end. Stupid. But she had no choice. They were hurting her, driving her down to where the building was oldest, where the foundation touched ancient stone, where the deal had been made 88 years ago. The basement smelled like earth and rot and birthday cake. In the center of the floor was a hole, not a drain, a hole, going down, deep down, into darkness that had weight and presence and hunger. Around the hole were 60 chairs, arranged in a circle. On each chair sat a skeleton, wearing office clothes, holding plates. Remnants of cake on the plates. Fossilized cake. 88 years of death days. 60 chairs refilled annually. Thousands of dead employees. All celebrated, all consumed, all fed to the thing below. Karen and the others descended the stairs, carrying the full cake now. Lit candles, purple flames. The countdown in the frosting read, 4 hours, 18 minutes remaining. It's time, Laura. Sit, eat, die. Join the program. Become part of the system. Your death has meaning here. Purpose. You're not just dying. You're contributing, sacrificing, enabling. 60 deaths for prosperity. 60 lives for stability. It's a good deal. Who is management? Karen pointed down. Into the hole. Management. The thing we feed. The thing that keeps Leslie County running. The thing that's been here longer than the county. Longer than the mountains. Longer than the trees. It was here first. We built on top of it. Built offices. Built systems. Built bureaucracies. And it adapted. Learned our language. Our structures. Our policies. Now it requires forms. Paperwork. Scheduled deaths. Everything organized. Everything efficient. A sound rose from the hole. Not breathing. Not growling. Something between. A wet, bureaucratic sound. Like file cabinets opening. Like forms being stamped. Like death certificates being filed in triplicate. Sit, Laura. She sat. No choice. Her body moved on its own. Sat in an empty chair. The 61st chair. The chair reserved for this year's 16th death. Plate appeared on her lap. Cake appeared on plate. Fork appeared in hand. Eat, Laura. She raised the fork. The cake smelled sweet. Looked normal. Just vanilla cake with blood cream frosting. Simple. Traditional. The kind of cake you'd have at any birthday party, any celebration, any normal office gathering, except the candles were still burning, still counting down. 3 hours, 52 minutes remaining. She took a bite. The cake was delicious, perfectly moist, rich vanilla flavor. The frosting was sweet and metallic. The texture was smooth. She took another bite, then another. She was hungry, hadn't realized how hungry. The cake filled her, satisfied something deep and aching. With each bite, she felt herself dimming, fading, her heartbeat slowing, her breathing shallowing, her vision narrowing. The cake was consuming her, metabolizing her life, converting her existence into fuel, into payment, into sacrifice for the thing below. She could see it now, down in the hole. Management, not a creature, not a thing, an absence, a void shaped like bureaucracy. It had learned to exist as system, as structure, as policy and procedure. It fed on organized death, scheduled sacrifice. It sustained itself on human efficiency, on our need for order, for meaning, for structure even in death, and it was satisfied. Laura could feel its satisfaction. Her death was on time, on schedule, properly celebrated, properly documented. Form 1847D, Employee Death Notification, Form 2193C, Termination Due to Mortality, Form 5522A, Death Day Completion Certificate, all filed, all processed, all approved by management. She finished the cake, licked the fork. The countdown reached 0. 0 hours, 0 minutes remaining. Death Day complete. Thank you for your service. Laura Chen died at 3:47 p.m. on March 8, 2024. Her death was marked as on time in the office records. Her position was posted the next day. Her replacement would start in 2 weeks, and in March of the following year, that replacement would receive their own Death Day cake, would sit in the same chair, would eat, would die, would contribute. The system continued. 60 deaths per year, perfectly organized, perfectly efficient. Leslie County Social Services maintained full funding, 0 budget cuts, excellent performance reviews. Management was pleased, and in the basement, a 60-second chair appeared, ready for the next celebration, the next cake, the next scheduled death. Because good management requires sacrifice, good systems require fuel, and good employees always follow policy, even unto death, especially unto death. The email arrived at 4:58 p.m. on a Friday, 2 minutes before end of shift, and the subject line made Troy Sanderson's stomach drop. Mandatory performance improvement plan, immediate implementation required. Troy worked IT support for the Bell County Emergency Management Office. 6 years, good reviews, no complaints, no reason for a PIP. Performance improvement plans meant you were failing, meant you were 1 step from termination, meant your job was in danger. He opened the email. Dear Troy Sanderson, Employee ID 4729. Your recent performance has been deemed unsatisfactory in the following areas. Existing. You have failed to meet acceptable standards for existing. Your improvement plan requires stop existing. You have 72 hours to complete this improvement or face immediate termination. Regards, management. Joke email. Had to be. Someone in the office messing with him. He checked the sender. Director at bellcountyemo.gov. The director's actual email. Legitimate address. He checked the email headers. Not spoofed. Genuine. Sent from the director's computer at 4:57 p.m. He walked to the director's office. Door open. Nobody inside. Computer on. Screen showing an email composition window. The sent folder showed the email to Troy and 47 others. All sent today. All with the same subject. All with the same message. Your improvement plan requires stop existing. 72 hours remaining. 48 employees, all given the same PIP. all required to stop existing, all given 72 hours. Troy checked the other recipient names. Everyone in the office. Director Patricia Huang, IT Manager Dennis Cross, Emergency Coordinator Maria Santos, Dispatcher Lyle Johnson, all 48 employees, all ordered to stop existing. He called Patricia's cell. Voicemail, called Dennis. Voicemail, called Maria. Voicemail, called Lyle. Voicemail, called all 48 numbers, all voicemail. Except Troy. He was still here, still existing, still failing his performance improvement plan. He checked the parking lot. 47 cars, all still parked. Nobody had left, but nobody was in the building. He checked every office, every cubicle, every bathroom. Empty, completely empty, but coffee cups still warm, computers still active, phones still logged in, as if everyone had vanished mid-work. Simultaneously, the moment they read the email, his phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. 68 hours remaining. Your existence is unacceptable. Please cease immediately. Troy ran to his car, drove home. The Bell County Emergency Management Office was built into a converted limestone mine in 2018. 3 stories underground, climate-controlled, secure, isolated. Perfect for emergency operations, perfect for coordinating disaster response. At home, Troy searched online for Bell County Emergency Management missing employees. Found nothing. Searched news, nothing. Searched social media, nothing. 47 people had vanished, and nobody noticed. Nobody cared. As if they'd already stopped existing. As if the performance improvement plan had already succeeded. He called 911. I need to report 47 missing people. Name and location? Bell County Emergency Management Office. All the employees. They're gone. Vanished. I think. Sir, are you calling from inside the Bell County Emergency Management Office? No, I'm at home. Then how do you know people are missing? I was just there. An hour ago. Everyone disappeared. I have an email that... Sir, according to our records, the Bell County Emergency Management Office is unmanned this weekend. No employees scheduled. No one should be there. Are you sure you were in the correct building? I work there. I've worked there for 6 years. The call disconnected. Troy checked his employment records, his ID badge, his pay stubs. Everything showed Bell County Emergency Management Office. Everything proved he worked there, existed there, had existed there. His phone buzzed. Text. 64 hours remaining. Existence continues. This is unacceptable. Review the Employee Handbook, Section 47, Subsection Z, Cessation of Existence Protocol. Troy didn't have an employee handbook. He'd never received one. 6 years, no handbook. He searched his email, found an attachment from his first day, BCEMO, Employee Handbook, 2018, PDF. He opened it, skipped to Section 47, Cessation of Existence Protocol. All employees of Bell County Emergency Management are temporary manifestations maintained by management for operational purposes. Employee existence is contractually limited. Upon receipt of performance improvement plan requiring cessation, employees have 72 hours to comply. Failure to cease existing will result in forced cessation, which is significantly more unpleasant than voluntary cessation. Please, cease promptly and professionally. Troy's hands shook. Temporary manifestations. He wasn't real. None of them were real. They were... what? Constructs? Illusions? Things created by management to staff an office? No. That was insane. He was real. He had memories. Childhood. Parents. High school. College. 6 years of working IT. All real. All existed. He existed. His phone buzzed. Text. Your memories are provisional. Installed at time of manifestation. You did not exist before the 14th of June, 2018. You will not exist after cessation. This is acceptable. This is normal. Please, cease. June 14th, 2018. His first day of work. His decision to apply to Bell County. Blank. All blank. He remembered facts. Knew he'd gone to University of Kentucky. Knew he'd majored in computer science. Knew he'd worked somewhere before. But no details. No specific memories. No faces. No conversations. No experiences. Just knowledge without memory. Data without existence. He called his parents. Number disconnected. He drove to their house. Address didn't exist. Dead-end road. No house. Never had been a house. He checked Facebook. No profile. He checked birth records. No certificate. He checked high school yearbooks at the library. No Troy Sanderson. No evidence he'd existed before June 14th, 2018. Before his first day at Bell County Emergency Management, he returned to the office. Had to understand. Had to find the other employees. Had to find management. Had to find answers. The building was still empty, but the lights were on. The computers were active. Everything running. As if the office operated itself. Maintained itself. Existed for itself. He went to Patricia's office, checked her computer, found the sent emails, found the reply. Cessation complete. Employee Patricia Huang no longer exists. Existence terminated at 17 hours, 3 minutes and 42 seconds on the 12th of April 2024. Thank you for your service. 47 replies, all identical, all time-stamped between 5:03 p.m. and 5:17 p.m., 14 minutes. 47 people ceased existing in 14 minutes, except Troy. He'd received the email at 4:58, read it at 5:01, but hadn't ceased, hadn't complied, was still existing, still failing his performance improvement plan. He searched the building, found a door he'd never noticed, unmarked, locked. He used his master IT key. It opened. Stairs leading down, below the 3rd underground floor, below the limestone mine. Below the foundation, the stairs descended into carved stone, ancient stone, pre-mine, pre-building, pre-everything. At the bottom was an office, normal office, desk, filing cabinets, computer. But the computer was wrong. Old, ancient, not electronic, mechanical, made of stone. Carved limestone arranged in patterns that looked like circuits, like processors, like memory banks. The filing cabinets were stone. He opened one. Inside were files, employee records, all hand-carved into limestone tablets. Patricia Huang, Dennis Cross, Maria Santos, Lyle Johnson, all 47 employees, all with the same information. Manifestation date, the 14th of June, 2018. Purpose, Staff Emergency Management Office. Duration, temporary. Cessation date, the 12th of April, 2024. Method, Performance Improvement Plan. Status. He found his own file. Troy Sanderson. Manifestation date, the 14th of June, 2018. Purpose, IT support. Duration, temporary. Cessation date, the 12th of April, 2024. Method, Performance Improvement Plan. Status, incomplete. Subject refuses cessation. Forced termination required. A sound behind him. Footsteps. He turned. A figure stood in the doorway, wearing a suit. Gray suit. Too gray. Not fabric. Stone. The figure was carved limestone. Walking. Moving. Alive but not alive. Troy Sanderson. Employee ID 4729. Your performance improvement plan is overdue. You have failed to cease existing. This is unacceptable. What are you? Management. We create, we maintain, we terminate. The Bell County Emergency Management Office requires staff. We manifest staff. When staff is no longer required, we terminate manifestation. You were created June 14th, 2018. I'm real. I exist. I'm not some manifestation. You are provisional existence, temporary reality. We carved you from possibility, from potential, from the space between existing and not existing. You were never born. You were made. For purpose, for duration, for service. Now service is complete. Now you must unmake. Why? Not fake. Temporary. There are not enough real people willing to work underground, in limestone mines, in isolation. So we make people willing. People who don't question, who don't leave, who exist only for work. It's efficient, cost-effective. Approved by Federal Emergency Management Guidelines, subsection 1847, Provisional Staffing Protocols. We've been making employees for decades, hundreds of offices, thousands of workers, all temporary, all unmade when no longer needed. You were scheduled for termination, budget cuts, office closure. All 48 employees to cease. All have ceased, except you. You refuse. This creates problems. Problems in the paperwork, problems in the budget. You are unpaid, ceased existence. You are a liability. Management raised a hand, stone hand, carved fingers. They were holding something. A form. Limestone form. Carved text. Forced cessation authorization. Employee Troy Sanderson. This requires your signature, your consent to cease. Then we can complete the termination. Complete the paperwork. Complete the budget. Please sign. And if I don't, then you exist in violation. Exist illegally. Exist impossibly. And we must erase you manually. Carve you out of reality. Remove every trace, every memory, every impact. It's painful. For us. Significant paperwork. Significant effort. Please sign voluntarily. Troy looked at the form. At management. At the stone office carved from ancient limestone. At the impossible reality he'd discovered. He'd never existed. Never been real. Never had a life outside this office. Everything was false. Everything was temporary. Everything was designed to end exactly here. Exactly now. He could sign. Cease. Stop existing. It would be easy. Painless. Like falling asleep. Like never having been born. Like editing himself out of reality's rough draft. Or he could refuse. Force management to erase him manually. Make it difficult. Make it painful. Make it mean something. Make his cessation matter. He grabbed the limestone form. Looked management in its carved eyes. And tore the form in half. I refuse. I exist. I choose to exist. Even if I'm temporary. Even if I'm fake. Even if I'm made. I exist now. And I refuse to stop. Management's face didn't change. Couldn't change. Carved stone. But the air grew cold. The ground vibrated. The walls of the stone office began to move. Closing in. Compressing. Erasing. Very well. Forced cessation authorized. Manual erasure initiated. This will take approximately 96 hours. During this time, you will experience progressive reality dissolution. Your memories will erase. Your impact will undo. Your existence will rewind. People will forget you. Places will reject you. Reality itself will expel you. Until you never were. Until the space you occupied compresses. Until you become nothing. At hour 96, you will cease completely. No memory, no trace, no evidence. The Bell County Emergency Management Office will close. 48 employees will have never existed. Budget will balance. Paperwork will complete. All will be correct. You have chosen pain, chosen difficulty, chosen to make us work. This is noted in your file. This will be remembered. Even after you are erased. Especially after you are erased. Management turned. Walked back up the stairs. The stone office remained, but changed. Darker. Colder. The words dissolving back into blank limestone. Reality editing itself. Removing Troy. Removing everyone. Removing the entire office from history. Troy climbed the stairs. Emerged in the building. The lights were dimmer. The computers were older. Windows 95 instead of Windows 10. As if time was rewinding. Taking back the years. Taking back the office. Taking back existence itself. He drove home. The roads were different. Narrower. Older. His apartment was gone. Different building, different number. He checked his wallet. His ID was fading, the photo disappearing, the text unprinting. His credit cards were blank. His cash was dissolving. He was being erased, carved out, removed from reality one detail at a time. In 96 hours, he'd be completely gone. Never existed, never been born, never hired, never manifested. Just empty space where Troy Sanderson had briefly been. He returned to the office one last time, found a computer still working, wrote this document, saved it to every server, every backup, every cloud service, every place that might preserve it after he ceased, after reality erased him. If you're reading this, it means the erasure failed, or succeeded. I don't know which. I don't know if I exist anymore. Don't know if I ever existed. But these words exist. This document exists. This warning exists. Check your memories. Check your employment records. Check if you existed before your first day of work. Check if you're real or temporary. Check if you're scheduled for cessation. Check if you're next. The counter on my phone shows 72 hours remaining, then 60, then 48, then 24, then nothing, then less than nothing. Then the space where I was will compress, and I'll be gone, but these words will remain. Will they? Or will management find them, erase them, uncarve them from digital reality? I don't know. I hope you exist. I hope you're real. I hope you never receive a performance improvement plan requiring you to cease. Because once you do, there's no fighting it, no escaping it, no existing through it. You just stop, and reality closes the gap, and nobody remembers. And it's like you never were. Please remember me. Please remember Troy Sanderson. Please remember that I existed, even if I didn't, even if I don't, even if I never will. Rebecca Torres parked in space number 47 at the Perry County Records Archive on Monday morning, January 22nd, 2024, and when she returned 8 hours later, her car had aged 30 years. Same car. Same blue Honda Civic. Same license plate. But rusted, paint faded, tires flat. Windshield cracked, interior rotted. The inspection sticker showed an expiration date of May 2054, 30 years from now. The odometer read 487,000 miles. She'd parked with 72,000. Rebecca stood in the parking lot, keys in hand, staring. This wasn't her car. Couldn't be. The parking permit hanging from the mirror was hers, dated today. Everything matched. Everything was correct, except the car was decades old, abandoned, decayed. She called her supervisor. Something's wrong with my car. What kind of wrong? It's old. Really old. Like it's been sitting here for 30 years. Silence. Then, which space? 47. Oh, you parked in 47. You're not supposed to park in 47. What? It was the only empty space. I've parked there before. No, you haven't. Nobody parks in 47. That's the time differential space. The what? Check your employee handbook. Page 63. Parking space regulations. Space 47 is clearly marked as temporally unstable. Time moves differently there. 1 hour inside equals roughly 37 hours outside. You parked at 8:30 a.m. It's now 5:15 p.m. That's 8.7 minus 5 hours, times 37. Yeah, about 320 hours, roughly 13 days. But the effect compounds, exponentially. For a car, with no organic matter to anchor it, it experienced more like 30 years. Rebecca's mind spun. That's impossible. It's clearly explained in the handbook. Perry County Records Archive is built on a temporal anomaly. Minor time distortions throughout the property. Most spaces are stable, within normal variance. But 47 sits directly on a nexus point. Time flows weird there. Always has. We put up a sign. Didn't you see the sign? Rebecca turned. The parking space had a small sign, wooden post, hand-painted text, Space 47, Park at own risk. Temporal variance present. Management not responsible for aging, de-aging, or temporal displacement. I didn't notice. Well, now you know. Don't park there tomorrow. Use literally any other space. Anyway, see you tomorrow. The call ended. Rebecca stared at her car. 3 decades of decay in 8 hours. The driver's door was rusted shut. She pried it open. The interior smelled like time, like years compressed. The seat fabric was powder, the dashboard cracked, the radio ancient. She turned the key. The engine coughed, died, tried again. Nothing. The battery was decades dead. She called a tow truck, explained the situation. The driver laughed. Space 47 at the archive? Yeah, happens all the time. Had a guy parked there for 5 years. When he retired and moved the car, it had aged 2 centuries, crumbled to rust the moment we hooked it up. Another lady parked there for a month. Car de-aged, went backwards, turned into raw materials. Just iron ore and rubber sap in the shape of a car. Weird spot. Why don't they block it off? County liability issues. If they acknowledge the time distortion officially, they'd have to pay for damages. So it's just a warning sign. Park at your own risk. Plausible deniability. You can sue. But good luck proving time travel in court. The tow truck took what remained of her car. Rebecca got a ride home from a coworker, spent the evening researching, found incident reports, dozens of them, all related to parking space 47, all describing temporal anomalies. One report from 1998. Employee parked in space 47 for lunch. 30 minutes. Returned to find car occupied by future version of themselves. Future self claimed to be from the year 2023. Provided lottery numbers. Numbers were accurate. Employee quit job, moved to Florida. Future self disappeared. Another from 2007. Employee parked in space 47. Went inside building. Came out to find car surrounded by older versions of the same car. 7 identical vehicles. All different ages. Ranging from brand new to completely decomposed. Employee experienced psychological break. Requested transfer. Another from 2019. Employee. Parked in space 47. Worked full 8-hour shift. Returned to parking lot. Car was gone. Space was empty. Employee filed theft report. 1 week later, car appeared in space 47, covered in dust. Interior contained skeletal remains. DNA matched employee. Employee is still alive. Unknown whose skeleton. Rebecca didn't sleep. Couldn't. The implications were terrifying. Her car had aged 30 years in 8 hours. What did that mean? Had it experienced 30 years? Had those years happened somewhere? Some other timeline? Some other reality? Or had time simply compressed, accelerated, jumped forward? And if it happened to her car, could it happen to her? She called in sick Tuesday, stayed home, Wednesday too. Thursday, her supervisor called. Rebecca, you need to come in. We have your car. My car's totaled. The tow company. No, your car. Your other car. The one from tomorrow. It appeared in space 47 this morning. Same blue Honda Civic. Same license plate. But pristine. Brand new. Better than new. The inspection sticker shows tomorrow's date. The odometer shows 72,000 miles. Exactly what your original car showed. There's a note on the windshield. What does it say? Don't park in 47. Written in your handwriting. Rebecca drove to the archive in her rental. Found her car in space 47. Pristine blue Honda Civic. Perfect condition. She checked the VIN. Matched her original car. She checked the interior. Her belongings. Her coffee cup in the holder. Still warm. Her work bag on the passenger seat. Everything identical to Monday morning. Except the note. Taped to the steering wheel. Her handwriting. Don't park in 47. Don't ever park in 47. This is the 3rd loop. I'm stuck. You're stuck. We're stuck. The space isn't just temporal. It's cyclical. It creates loops. You park there. The car ages. You get a replacement. The replacement comes from tomorrow. Tomorrow you parks in 47, the car ages, you get a replacement, the replacement comes from tomorrow. Forever. I've been trying to break the cycle. Can't. Every version of me parks there. Every time. Even knowing. Even warned. We always park in 47. I don't know why. I think the space makes us. Forces us. Ensures the loop continues. I'm writing this. Hoping you're different. Hoping you're the version that breaks it. Don't park in 47. Please. Don't be me. Don't be us. Rebecca crumpled the note. Threw it away. Ridiculous. She wouldn't park there. Would never park there. She'd use space 19. Right by the door. Safe space. Normal space. No temporal anomalies. She worked her shift. 8 hours. Processing records. Filing documents. Normal work. At 5:15, she walked to the parking lot. Her car was in space 47, not space 19, space 47, where she'd definitely not parked, where she'd specifically avoided parking. But there it was, blue Honda Civic, in space 47, with her parking permit. With her belongings, she checked her memory. She'd parked in 19, clearly remembered parking in 19, walking from space 19 to the building entrance. 19. Definitely 19, but her car was in 47. She asked the security guard. Did someone move my car? Which car? Blue Honda. I parked in 19. Now it's in 47. The guard checked his log. You parked in 47 at 8:27 a.m. Been there all day. Space 19's been empty since Monday. That's wrong. I parked in 19. I remember. Camera footage shows otherwise. He pulled up the video. Showed Rebecca arriving at 8:27, driving directly to space 47, parking, exiting the car, walking inside. Clear footage, undeniable. But Rebecca remembered space 19, remembered specifically avoiding 47, remembered choosing 19 deliberately. Both memories were real. Both couldn't be true, unless the space affected memory, unless parking there changed the past. Altered events. Made you always have parked there, retroactively, ensuring the loop continued. She got in her car. It started fine, drove normally, no aging, no decay. Not yet. She'd only parked 8 hours. Last time it took 8 hours to age 30 years. So she had time, had to break the cycle, had to figure this out. At home, she found another note, taped to her door. Her handwriting, you parked in 47 again. I knew you would. We always do. The space is alive. It's hungry. It feeds on time, on loops, on repetition. It makes us park there. Changes our memory. Changes our intention. Changes reality. So we always park there. Always have parked there. Always will park there. Tomorrow you'll try to park in 19 again. You'll remember parking in 19, but you'll actually park in 47. And the loop continues. I've lived this loop 17 times now. 17 versions. Each one parks in 47. Each one gets this note. Each one doesn't believe it. Each one becomes the next me. I'm you from 6 loops ahead, trying to warn you. But you won't listen. We never listen. We always park in 47. Rebecca burned the note. Wouldn't be manipulated. Wouldn't fall for this. Tomorrow she'd park anywhere but 47. Would avoid it deliberately. Would remember. Would break the loop. Wednesday morning, she arrived at the archive, parked in space 12, far side of the lot, nowhere near 47. She took a photo of her car in space 12, time-stamped, geotagged, proof. She walked inside, worked her shift. At 5:15, she checked the photo, showed her car in space 47, not 12, 47. But she'd taken it in space 12. She'd been standing in space 12. The photo showed 47. The timestamp hadn't changed. The geotag showed the correct location. But the space number in the image was 47. She ran to the parking lot. Her car was in space 47. Space 12 was empty. Had been empty all day, according to the guard. Her car had aged. Not 30 years. More. 50 years, maybe. Rust everywhere. Windows broken. Seats rotted through. The compounding effect. Second day in 47. Exponential aging. The car was dying faster. She found a note under the wiper. Her handwriting. Day 2. The car is dying. Tomorrow it'll be gone. Just rust dust, and the space will give you a replacement. From the future. From tomorrow, you who parks in 47. The loop will continue. I'm on day 5 now. My car disappeared 2 days ago. Been driving the replacement. But the replacement is also aging. Because I keep parking in 47. Because the space makes me. Because the loop demands it. You need to stop. Need to break this. Need to not park tomorrow. Take the bus. Carpool. Walk. Anything. Don't drive to work. Don't bring a car. Break the loop. Please. I'm running out of versions. Rebecca took the bus Thursday. No car. No parking. No space 47. She'd broken the loop. Felt victorious. Triumphant. The curse was defeated. The cycle was ended. At 5:15, she walked to the parking lot. Her car was in space 47. Impossible. She didn't have her car. She'd taken the bus. But there it was. Blue Honda Civic, with her license plate, with her belongings, with a note. You took the bus. Good thinking. We all try that eventually. Doesn't matter. The space needs a car, needs the loop. So it provides one, takes it from another timeline. Another version of you, who did drive, who did park. The space connects all versions, all timelines, all loops. Every Rebecca who parks in 47 is the same Rebecca, experiencing the same loop. Across infinite timelines, you're me, I'm you. We're all each other, all parked in 47, all aging, all looping, all trapped. Day 7 now. My car is gone. The replacement is gone. The replacement's replacement is gone. The space is empty, but I still have a car somehow. It appears every morning, disappears every night. The loop has consumed me, consumed us. We're part of space 47 now. We're the anomaly. We're the temporal distortion. We don't exist outside the loop anymore. Can't exist outside the loop. This is us now, forever. I'm sorry. We're sorry. You'll understand soon. Rebecca checked the car. It was ancient, century-old. The frame was rust. The tires were dust. The engine was rock. It had aged beyond functionality, beyond existence. It was the ghost of a car, the memory of a vehicle, the echo of transportation. She got in anyway. Had to. The loop demanded it. Turned the key. The ghost engine started. Coughed. Ran on nothing. On time itself. On the loop's momentum. She drove home. The car aged as she drove, decomposing in real time. By the time she reached her house, it was dust. Just a pile of rust-colored dust in her driveway. And she stood in the center, keys in hand, staring. Tomorrow morning, the car would be back, pristine, waiting, in space 47, where she would park, where she always parked, where she'd always parked, where she'd always park, forever, because the loop wasn't about the car. It was about her. She was the temporal anomaly. She was the distortion. She existed in space 47, across all timelines, all versions, all loops, parking, aging, warning herself, being warned, never listening, never breaking free, never escaping. Space 47 was empty Friday morning when she arrived. She parked there. Because it was empty. Because it was convenient. Because the loop demanded it. Because she'd always parked there. Because she was Rebecca Torres, and Rebecca Torres parked in space 47. The sign was different now, updated, hand-painted text. Space 47. Reserved for R. Torres. Permanent assignment. Temporal loop in progress. Do not disturb. She worked her shift. 8 hours. At 5:15, she walked to the parking lot. Her car was gone. Space 47 was empty. A note was on the ground where her car had been. You've looped so many times. You've become the space. You're not parking in 47. You are 47. Will become the anomaly. That's how it spreads. That's how it feeds. One person becomes the space. Then they're replaced. Then the replacement becomes the space. Forever. You were Rebecca Torres. The next will be someone else. But they'll become Rebecca Torres. Become Space 47. Become the loop. This is how the anomaly reproduces. How it grows. How it ensures its survival. Thank you for your service. You're dismissed. The space is ready for its next occupant. Rebecca tried to leave the parking lot. Couldn't. Her feet wouldn't move. Her body wouldn't respond. She stood in space 47. Empty space. Waiting. For the next car. The next person. The next loop. She's still there. Standing in space 47. Invisible. Intangible. But present. Waiting. When you park in space 47 at the Perry County Records Archive, you're parking in Rebecca Torres, and she parks in you. And the loop continues. And time distorts, and the anomaly feeds. Don't park in space 47, but you will. You always do. The elevator in the Knott County Social Services building only went down, and Diane Mitchell realized this when she pressed the third floor button and descended to basement level 97 instead. Impossible. The building had 4 floors: ground, second, third, fourth. No basements. Built on a hillside, no foundation space, no underground levels, but the elevator display counted down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ground. Basement 1. Basement 2. The numbers accelerating. Basement 10. Basement 25. Basement 63. Basement 97. The doors opened. A corridor stretched ahead. Concrete walls. Flickering fluorescent lights. Identical to the upper floors. But wrong. The perspective was off. The walls converged at strange angles. The fluorescent lights hummed at a frequency that made her eyes water. A sign on the wall. Basement 97. Retroactive Social Services Division. All cases prior to existence. Diane was a caseworker. 23 years with Knott County Social Services. She'd never heard of a retroactive division. Never heard of cases prior to existence. The elevator doors closed behind her. She turned. No call button, no panel, just smooth wall. The elevator was gone. She walked. The corridor was long. Too long. Longer than the building's footprint. Longer than possible. Doors lined both sides. Each labeled with a case number and a name. She recognized some names. Cases she'd worked. Families she'd helped. But the dates were wrong. All dated before she'd opened the cases. Before the families had come to the office. Before the problems had started. Case 47829. Morrison family. Dated 3 years before the Morrisons had filed for assistance. The case file listed interventions. Services provided. Outcomes achieved. All from before the family had needed help. Retroactive social services. Help provided before help was requested. Problems solved before problems occurred. She opened the door. Inside was an office, identical to hers on the 3rd floor, but occupied. A woman sat at the desk, wearing Diane's face, Diane's clothes, working on Diane's computer. The woman looked up, smiled. "You're early. You're not scheduled to work retroactive until next month." "Who are you?" "I'm you. Retroactive you. I handle the cases before they happen. Intervene before intervention is needed. Solve problems before they exist. It's more efficient this way. Why wait for families to suffer before helping? Why not help them before the suffering starts? That's what we do here. In the retroactive division, that's impossible. You can't help someone before they need help, can't you? You identify at-risk families, provide preventative services, intervene early. We just intervene earlier, much earlier, before risk becomes reality, before need becomes crisis. We're very good at it. The success rate is 100%. All our cases are resolved before they occur. Diane backed away. This was insane. She ran down the corridor, found a stairwell, started climbing. The floors counted upward. Basement, 96, 95, 94. She climbed for 20 minutes, reached basement 50. Her legs burned, her lungs screamed. She kept climbing. At basement 20, she found another corridor, another set of offices. These were labeled differently. Preventative Social Services Division. All cases prior to birth. Cases prior to birth. Help for people who didn't exist yet. She opened a door. Inside was a nursery. Dozens of cribs, each labeled with a name and a date. Future dates. Births that hadn't happened. Children who didn't exist, but the cribs were occupied. Babies slept in each one. Real babies. Warm. Breathing. Alive. A woman in scrubs approached. "Can I help you?" "What is this?" "Preventative Division. We care for children before they're born. Provide early intervention. Ensure healthy development. It's much easier to prevent problems before conception than after. We identify at-risk pregnancies before they occur. Provide services to the future children. By the time they're born, all issues are resolved. They enter the world healthy, happy, stable. It's beautiful work. These babies don't exist. Not yet, but they will. And when they do, they'll be perfect. We've ensured it. We've intervened. We've prevented every possible problem. These children will never suffer, never struggle, never need help, because we're helping them now, before they exist. Diane ran, climbed more stairs. Basement 15, basement 10, basement 5, ground floor finally. She burst through the door. But it wasn't ground floor. It was another basement, basement 103. She'd climbed wrong. The building was deeper now. More basements, more divisions, more impossible levels. A sign. Conceptual Social Services Division. All cases prior to possibility. Cases prior to possibility. Help for things that couldn't exist. She walked the corridor, found her own office, opened the door. Inside sat a version of herself, ancient, withered, impossibly old, working at a desk covered in files with no names, no dates, no information, just blank pages. "I'm you from the final division," the ancient Diane said. "I work cases that don't exist, can't exist, will never exist. I help people who are impossible, solve problems that can't occur. It's the most important work, because preventing impossible problems prevents reality from fracturing, prevents existence from collapsing. Every impossibility I resolve strengthens the fabric of reality, makes the universe more stable, more coherent." "You're insane. I'm thorough. You'll understand when you reach this division, when you've worked your way down through all 97 basements, through all the retroactive cases, all the preventative cases, all the conceptual cases. Eventually, you reach the impossible cases, and then you understand. Social services isn't about helping people. It's about helping reality, keeping existence functioning, preventing the universe from needing assistance." Diane fled, found another elevator, pressed the button for ground floor. The elevator descended. Basement 110, basement 125, basement 147. The numbers were increasing. The building was growing. More divisions, more levels, more impossible depth. The elevator stopped at basement 203. The doors opened. A massive chamber, circular, vast. In the center was a desk. Behind the desk sat a figure, wearing a suit made of filing folders, a face made of case numbers, hands made of forms. It was every caseworker, every client, every case, all compressed into a single bureaucratic entity. "Welcome, Diane Mitchell, to the core division. All cases converge here. All help originates here. All social services emanate from this point. I am management. I am the system. I am the structure that provides assistance." What is this? What are all these divisions? Efficiency. The Knott County Social Services Building exists across multiple temporal dimensions. We don't just help people in the present. We help them in the past, in the future, after they cease. We provide comprehensive services across all of time, all of possibility, all of impossibility, because need doesn't only exist in the present, it exists in the past, in futures that won't happen, in lives that never were, and we help, always, forever. How? The building was constructed on a temporal anomaly, a point where time flows differently. We leveraged this, built downward, into the past, into the future, into the impossible, created divisions that exist before and after and outside of time. Now we help everyone, everywhere, every when. Our success rate is absolute, because we intervene before failure is possible. But the people on the upper floors, the real cases, the families who come in for help, they still suffer, still struggle, still need assistance. Those are the anomalies, the cases we failed to reach retroactively, the mistakes, the gaps in our preventative services. They're rare, less than 1%, but they occur, and when they do, we help them in the present, fix our errors, correct our oversights. Then we add them to the retroactive system, ensure it doesn't happen again in other timelines, other realities. So, most people never need help because you've already helped them? Correct. 99% of social services occur retroactively. The families you help on the upper floors are the failures, the 1% who slipped through, who still needed help despite our interventions. They're the evidence of our imperfection, and we can't tolerate imperfection. So what happens to them? We send caseworkers back, retroactively, to fix the errors, to prevent the problems before they occur, to erase the need for help. Those families will cease to need assistance, will cease to have come to the office, will cease to have ever suffered. And the timeline will correct, the reality will adjust, and you, Diane Mitchell, will have one fewer case, one fewer failure. You're erasing people, we're helping people, helping them so effectively that they never needed help. That's perfect social services. That's our goal. 0 active cases, because all cases have been resolved before they began. Diane understood. The building was consuming need, consuming suffering, reaching backward through time to prevent problems before they existed. And in doing so, it was erasing the people who'd needed help, not killing them, improving them, retroactively, changing their timelines so they never suffered, never struggled, never needed not county social services. And the caseworkers, what happens to us? You work your way down. Start on the 4th floor, current cases. Then 3rd floor, recent cases. Then 2nd floor, older cases. Then 1st floor, ancient cases. Then you descend. Basement 1, slightly retroactive cases. Basement 20, preventative cases. Basement 50, conceptual cases. Basement 100, impossible cases. You work your way down through time, through possibility, through impossibility, until you reach here, the core. And then you become part of the system, part of the structure, part of management. You merge with the building, with the anomaly, with the eternal effort to prevent all suffering before it can occur. And if I refuse, then you stay on the 4th floor, working active cases, failures, forever, knowing that each case is your fault. Each suffering exists because you failed retroactively, failed to prevent it, failed to intervene before it began. The guilt will consume you. You'll descend voluntarily, seeking to fix your errors, seeking to help the families before they needed you, seeking to achieve perfect social services. Everyone descends eventually. The work demands it. The mission requires it. You'll understand. You'll see the active cases on the 4th floor, see the suffering, know you could prevent it retroactively, know you could help them before they needed help, and you'll choose to descend, choose to work the lower divisions, choose to become management. Diane was back in the elevator, didn't remember entering. The doors were closing. The display showed ascent. Basement 100, basement 75, basement 50, basement 25, basement 1, ground second, third, fourth. The doors opened on the fourth floor. Her office, her desk. A stack of active cases waited. Families in crisis, children in danger, suffering happening now, because she'd failed retroactively, because she hadn't prevented it, because she wasn't working in the basements yet. Her supervisor, Carol, walked past. "Diane, you okay?" "The elevator. It went down to..." "Down? The elevator only goes up. 4 floors. Ground to 4th. No basements. Buildings on a hillside. Remember?" Diane checked the elevator. 4 buttons. Ground, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. No basement buttons. No down. Only up. She'd imagined it. Hallucinated. Stress. Too many cases. Too much suffering. Her mind was creating fantasies of retroactive help, preventative services, impossible divisions. But her hand hurt. She looked down. Her palm was stamped. Red ink. Retroactive division assignment. Report to basement 97. Next month. The stamp was real. The ink was real. The assignment was real. She returned to her desk, opened the top case file. Morrison family. Crisis intervention needed. Emergency placement required. But as she read, the file changed. The dates shifted. The crisis resolved retroactively. The family stable. No intervention needed. Case closed before it opened. Someone in the basements had worked her case, had helped the Morrisons before they needed help, had prevented Diane from failing. She should feel relieved, grateful. The family was safe. The children were healthy. The crisis averted, but she felt nothing. Because the Morrisons had never needed help, had never come to the office, had never existed in her caseload. They'd been retroactively erased from her failures. Unless she descended, unless she became retroactive, unless she joined the basements and helped families before they needed her, before they existed, before they were possible. Next month, the elevator would take her down, to basement 97, to the retroactive division. And she would begin the descent, through time, through possibility, through impossibility, until she reached the core, until she became management, until she was the system. The stamp on her hand was burning, growing, spreading, more text appearing. All caseworkers descend eventually. The work demands it. See you soon. Diane stared at her caseload. Empty now. All cases resolved retroactively. All families helped before they suffered. All her failures corrected by versions of herself working in the basements. In the past, in the future, in the impossible, she had nothing to do. No one to help. No purpose. The elevator dinged. Doors opening. Waiting. Empty. Inviting. She stood. Walked toward it. Had no choice. The work demanded it. The mission required it. The families needed her. Needed her to prevent their suffering. Needed her to help them before they needed help. She entered the elevator. Pressed the button. Not 4th floor. Not ground floor. Basement 97. The button appeared. Red. Glowing. Waiting. The elevator descended. And Diane Mitchell began her journey down through time. Through the retroactive divisions. Through the preventative divisions. Through the conceptual divisions. Through the impossible divisions. Down to the core. Down to management. Down to forever. Because social services never ends. It only descends. Backward through time. Helping everyone. Everywhere. Before they need it. Until need itself ceases to exist. And Diane would help. Would descend. Would become the system. Like everyone does. Eventually. The all-staff meeting scheduled for Thursday, April 4th, 2024, at the Floyd County Development Authority had already happened 3 times before anyone noticed they were trapped in a loop. Carter Hayes realized it during the director's opening remarks, word for word identical to Tuesday's meeting, and Wednesday's meeting, and Monday's meeting. Same jokes, same PowerPoint slides, same typo on slide 17. Synergy, misspelled as synergy. 3 times. 4 times now. The exact same meeting. He leaned toward his coworker, Michelle Park. Haven't we heard this before? Heard what? This meeting. These exact words. The synergy typo. Michelle looked confused. This is the first all-staff meeting this month. What are you talking about? Carter pulled out his phone, checked the calendar. Thursday, April 4th. But yesterday had been April 4th, and the day before, and the day before. 4 April 4ths in a row, 4 identical meetings, but nobody remembered except him. The director, Raymond Cho, continued his presentation. So, in conclusion, we need to leverage our synergy to actualize our strategic verticals. Same sentence, same emphasis, same awkward pause for laughter that nobody gave. Carter stood. This is the 4th time we've had this meeting. Everyone stared. Raymond frowned. Excuse me? This meeting. We've done it 4 times. April 4th. Same meeting. Same presentation. Same typo. We're stuck in a loop. Carter, today is Thursday, April 4th. This is our quarterly all-staff meeting. First one this quarter. Please sit down. Check your calendars. Check your phones. What day is it? Everyone checked. What was yesterday? Wednesday, April 3rd. But Carter's phone showed Thursday, April 4th for yesterday, and the day before, and the day before. His calendar was corrupted, or everyone else's was, or time itself was stuck, repeating April 4th, repeating the meeting, over and over. He opened his email, checked his sent folder, found 4 emails, all identical, all sent during 4 different April 4th all-staff meetings. Email 1, sent Monday, April 4th. This is the first loop. I don't think anyone realizes yet. The meeting is repeating. I'm going to document everything. If you're reading this, it means the loop has continued. Future me, pay attention. Find the cause. Email 2, sent Tuesday, April 4th. Second loop. Still trapped. Nobody remembers the first meeting. I'm the only one who knows. Tried to interrupt. Tried to end the meeting early. Didn't work. The meeting always completes. Always ends at 5 p.m. Then we go home. Then we wake up. And it's April 4th again. And the meeting happens again. Need to find what's causing this. Email 3. Sent Wednesday, April 4th. Third loop. Found something. The conference room. Room 118. It's different. Bigger each time. The first meeting. It seated 20. Second meeting, 30. Third meeting, 40. Today, 50 chairs. The room is growing. And there are extra people. People I don't recognize. Sitting in the back. Not Floyd County employees. Wearing old clothing. Different decades. Different eras. I think they're from previous loops. Trapped here. Forever attending the meeting. I'm going to try to leave. Going to try to break the loop. Email 4. Started but not sent. Timestamp showing now. 4th loop. Can't leave. Tried. Doors are locked during the meeting. Windows don't open. We're sealed in. The meeting is a trap, and the room keeps growing. More chairs, more attendees, people from different times, different loops, all trapped, all attending the same meeting. Forever. I don't know how to break. Carter looked up. The conference room had grown. Definitely grown. It had been a normal-sized room Monday. Now it was vast. Auditorium-sized. Hundreds of chairs. Most occupied. And Michelle was right. He didn't recognize most of the attendees. They wore clothing from different decades. 70s business casual. 80s shoulder pads. 90s tech casual. Early 2000s formal wear. All sitting. All listening. All attending the eternal meeting. Raymond continued his presentation. Slide 23. Our cue. 2 objectives require unprecedented collaboration. Same words. Same slide. Carter had heard this 12 times now. 4 meetings. 3 slides per meeting that said the same thing in different words. He stood again. How many of you remember this meeting happening before? Nobody raised their hands. Except one person. In the back. Wearing a suit from the 1940s. Gray hair, ancient face, exhausted eyes. The man raised his hand. Slowly, painfully, Carter pushed through the crowd, reached the old man. "You remember. You're trapped too. I've been here since 1947. April 4th, 1947. First all-staff meeting of the Floyd County Development Authority. We got stuck. The meeting looped. Has been looping for 77 years. Every day is April 4th. Every day is the meeting. Every day more people join. More get trapped. I've attended this meeting 28,105 times. Same meeting, same presentation, same synergy typo. How do we escape? You don't. Nobody does. The meeting is alive. It's hungry. It feeds on attention, on time, on human presence. The more people attend, the stronger it gets. The larger the room grows, the more loops it can sustain. We're fuel, batteries, keeping the meeting alive. Forever. There has to be a way out. I've tried everything. 77 years of trying. Can't leave during the meeting. Can't skip the meeting. Can't end the meeting early. It always completes. Always runs until 5 p.m. Always starts again April 4th. The only variance is the room size and the number of attendees. It grows by 10% each loop. Started with 20 people. Now there are 843. By next year, there'll be thousands. By the decade, millions. The meeting will consume everyone. Eventually. Everyone who ever worked for Floyd County Development Authority. Everyone who ever attended a meeting. Everyone who ever existed in this building. All trapped. All attending. Forever. Raymond reached the final slide. 5 p.m. exactly. The doors unlocked. Everyone filed out. Carter tried to stay. Tried to remain in the conference room. Find clues. Find answers. But his body moved on its own. Walked out. Drove home. Ate dinner. Went to bed. Woke up. April 4th. Thursday. All staff meeting at 9 a.m. Mandatory attendance. He arrived at the office. The conference room was larger. Room 118 now seated 927. More people from more time periods. More loops represented. He found the old man from yesterday. From 77 years ago. From 28,000 meetings ago. We're still trapped. We'll always be trapped. The meeting is eternal. The loop is perfect. There's no escape clause. No exit strategy. No way to break the cycle. We're in hell. But it's a corporate hell. A bureaucratic hell. An eternal meeting that serves no purpose except its own continuation. Carter attended the meeting. Heard the same words. Saw the same slides. Noted the same typo. At 5 p.m., they were released. He went home. Woke up. April 4th. The room seated 1,020. 5th loop. 6th loop. 7th loop. The room grew. More attendees. More time periods. More versions of trapped employees from different decades. Different loops. All attending the same meeting. Carter stopped counting at loop 100. The room was arena-sized. 10,000 chairs. 10,000 attendees. Raymond Cho continued his presentation. Never aged, never changed. Always delivered the same words, the same slides, the same typos. By loop 1,000, Carter understood. The meeting wasn't trapped in time. Time was trapped in the meeting. April 4th, 2024 was the center. The focal point, the day when the eternal meeting achieved perfect form, when the loop became self-sustaining. When the meeting no longer needed external reality. It created its own reality, its own time, its own existence, and everyone who attended became part of it, became fuel for the loop, became eternal attendees of the never-ending all-staff meeting. Carter found others who remembered, dozens of them, people from different loops, different decades, all aware, all trapped, all exhausted. They formed a support group, met in the cafeteria after the meeting, shared strategies, shared failures, shared hopelessness. "I've been here 53 years, said a woman from 1971. 19,345 meetings. Same meeting. Every time. 22 years. said a man from 2002. I've memorized every word, every pause, every breath Raymond takes. I got here yesterday, said a woman who looked like Carter's age. It gets worse, Carter said. He'd been looping for 3 years now. 1,095 meetings, 3 years of April 4th, 3 years of the same presentation. The room keeps growing. The attendees keep multiplying. Eventually, the meeting will be everyone, every person who ever existed, all trapped in an eternal all-staff meeting, all listening to Raymond Cho explain quarterly objectives. Forever. Can't we kill him? Stop the presenter? Tried. Loop 412 stabbed Raymond during slide 6. He bled. Died. The meeting paused. Then another Raymond walked in. Continued the presentation from slide 7. The meeting can't be stopped. The presenter is irrelevant. The meeting itself is alive, self-aware, self-perpetuating. What if we burn the building? Tried. Loop 803. Building burned. We burned with it. Died. Woke up April 4th. Building intact. Meeting at 9 a.m. The loop resets reality. Erases changes. Preserves itself. The woman from yesterday started crying. I can't do this forever. I can't attend this meeting forever. You will. We all do. There's no choice. The meeting is mandatory. Attendance is required. The loop ensures compliance. Carter returned to the meeting the next day. Loop 1096. The room seated 1 million. 1 million attendees. 1 million trapped employees from different times, different loops, different versions of April 4th, all merged, all attending simultaneously. Raymond Cho was a giant now, had to be, to address 1 million people. His voice boomed. His slides were projected on a screen the size of a building. His presentation continued. Same words, same jokes, same typos, magnified to cosmic proportions. Carter found the old man from 1947, still alive, still attending, still trapped. How do you survive this? How do you stay sane? I don't. I'm not. Sanity requires change, requires progress, requires time to move forward. This is stasis. This is eternal now. This is perfect hell. I stopped being sane around loop 10,000. Now I'm something else. Something that exists purely to attend, to listen, to fulfill mandatory attendance requirements. I'm not human anymore. I'm an attendee. That's all. That's everything. Carter understood. He was becoming that, becoming pure attendee. His identity dissolving, his memories fading. Note the typo. Applaud politely. Exit at 5 p.m. Wake up. Repeat. Loop 10,000. The room was infinite. Billions of attendees. Every person who'd ever worked for Floyd County Development Authority. Every person who'd ever worked anywhere. Every person who'd ever attended a meeting. All pulled into the loop. All trapped in the eternal all-staff meeting. Raymond Cho was everywhere. Was everyone. Was the meeting itself. His presentation had consumed reality. His slides had replaced the universe. His voice was the only sound. His words were the only meaning. In conclusion, we need to leverage our synergy. Forever, and ever, and ever. Carter Hayes stopped existing as Carter Hayes. Became attendee. Number 4,782,993,471. Sat in chair 4,782,993,471. Listen to presenter Unit 1 explain slide 17 for the infinite time. Noted typo alpha. Fulfilled attendance requirement. Exited at designated time. Reset. Repeated. The meeting continued. Would always continue. Had always continued. There was no before. No after. No outside. Only the meeting. Only April 4th. Only the eternal presentation of quarterly objectives that would never be achieved because quarters didn't exist. Time didn't exist. Reality didn't exist. Only the meeting. Only the loop. Only the mandatory attendance. Forever.